Hey everyone, welcome back to another strap search. I've got my 5 straps, $100 each. I wanted to start this week reminding you guys of a previous tip that I had mentioned. My straps this week, as you notice, all came from the Federal Reserve Bank. These are great straps to search because whenever a bank gets an excess of singles or any particular denomination, whenever they get an excess of cash, they will ship that money back to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve itself actually will take that cash, they will go through it. If there's stamps on it, if there's writing on it, if the bills are in poor condition, if they're dirty, if they're wrinkled, the Federal Reserve will trash all of those bills. What they will then do is they will repackage the bills, like these stacks here, and you can see that these are definitely all used bills. They are circulated bills. They put them back into circulation, and it's nice because you can see exactly when it was done. This particular one was at the Federal Reserve on February 19th, 2019. That's the actual time that this strap was put together, and it's $100 worth of singles. Every one of these has that on there. Whenever you get one of these, it's always nice because you know that you're not going to find a bill that maybe has a nice date or a nice serial number but has a huge pen mark or a stamp mark or something on it. All these bills are clean, perfectly fine for circulation, and decent enough to be collectibles. So getting straps like this from your bank, it's a prize in and of itself. You know you have a shot at some good stuff. So let's see what good stuff I found going through these. I did get a stack of bills. I got a couple star notes. Let's see. All my star notes that I got this time were from 2013. The Dallas note there, Boston. Yeah, these notes aren't perfect, but they aren't bad. They aren't written on. They aren't heavily creased. They aren't soiled. Did get one fairly low number from Atlanta. His starts off with 2 zeros, so you're talking less than $1 million as far as this particular number goes, so that's all right. Did find a bunch of trinaries. This one's 1s, 3s, and 8s. This one is 1s, 2s, and 8s. 7, 8, 9, kind of a neat trinary, especially from Kansas City. The J notes from Kansas City, they don't print a lot of these, so getting a J note's always a neat piece to add to your collection. 0s, 1s, and 5s from Chicago, very crisp. I got some older notes. This one is from 1995. I believe I had 2 of them from the 1995 series. Yep, there's the second one. 1995 D, Cleveland, Ohio. Another one, I did have a third. 1995 H, St. Louis. 1988 A. Always checking my 88 A's to make sure that they are not web notes. Anytime you get an 88A, a 93, or a 95, there's a potential for it to be a web note. That could bring its value all the way up to from $15 to $800, depending on which branch it is. Did get a birthday note, or I should say an anniversary note, either way. 1920. This one would be April 14th, 1920. April 14th, 1920. Yeah, that's the only way you could make that one. I did find one other interesting note when I was looking at these bills. I put it in a sleeve just so I could go through it, and I hope it shows up on camera. This one is from 1999. Okay. When they print bills numerous times. When they print the back of a bill, it's done in one printing because it's all green ink. There's nothing special there. So the back of the bill is done in one printing. However, the front of the bill has multiple colors, multiple numbers, so it needs multiple printings. The first printing you're going to see on the bill is the president. You're going to see the outline, and that's pretty much it. The second printing they're going to do on the bill is generally going to be the serial number with the seal, because that's in green ink. Okay. They also do a third printing on the bill. The third printing has the Federal Reserve District right here. And you can see this note is a C, so this note's from Philadelphia. By this note being a C note, there's another little security thing that's built in here. C is the third letter of the alphabet. So that means they also print a 3 here, 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 and here on the bill, designating that this bill was printed in Philadelphia. Okay, so this mark, these 3s, were all printed at the same time on the third printing. On that third printing, if I can zoom in real close, and if my camera will focus, I don't know if my camera will focus because that portion is actually blurred. The area around the C has an ink smear, and you can't really see it on this one here. I did find another one that had a very large ink smear, or very easily identifiable ink smear here and on all 4 of those numbers. And I'll be bringing that one out probably in my next video. But this one, on camera in the plastic, it's hard to see, but there is a smudge here, and there is definitely a smudge here. This isn't dirt, even though that may be what it looks like at the through the lens. This is actually an ink smudge on there. So this is technically an error note. Should have been pulled and replaced with a star note. Just in comparison, here's a regular note. You can see how crisp and clear that area would be. You can see how crisp and clear the numbers are. Once again, smudge, clear. And the number 8 there, number 3 there. That one doesn't show up as well, but the H versus the C, you can definitely see the smudge there. All right, so that's it for what I found. I dove into my older collection to see what I could bring up today, and I found this is a 1928 small size gold certificate. Look right up in here. There's a series of 1928 gold certificate. This certificate is legal tender in the amount thereof in payment of all debts and dues, public and private. This is a little different than the large size note. The small size gold certificates have the same back that you're used to seeing on an older 20. The large size gold certificates were printed with a orangish yellow ink, so they stood out. This, the only identifier is the orange ink for the serial number, the gold certificate here. And like I said, the series of 1928 here, series of 1928 here. It's a decent note, and what makes this note also kind of cool is that it's considered an obsolete note. That these were all recalled and they were forced to be turned in. I was going through my Freiberg book, which is what I find all my neat stuff in, or all my neat information, and it says flat out about these small size gold certificates that all are now obsolete. The issue was short-lived as an executive order in April of 1933, followed by the Gold Reserve Act in 1934, required the surrender of all gold certificates. The surrender of all gold certificates, both large and small size. On April 24th, 1964, the Secretary of the Treasury removed all restrictions, and the acquisition and holding of gold certificates is now legal to collect them. They only printed these in 1928. They were only out from 1928 to 1933. That was the only time that they were actually in circulation. And like the book said, as of 1934, they were supposed to be redeemed and illegal to own, making these much more collectible than the large size notes, because the large size notes were available for a much longer period of time. So that's my piece for this week. All right, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.